The fastest goal in World Cup history was scored before most people watching had even sat back down in their seats. 11 seconds. That is all it took. Less time than it takes to tie a shoelace. Less time than you have spent watching this video so far. The whistle blew to start the match, and before the crowd had finished settling, before the commentators had finished their opening sentence, the ball was already in the back of the net. It is a record that has stood for over 20 years. And the story of how it happened is far stranger than the number alone, because the strangest part is not the speed. To understand this goal, you have to understand the match it happened in. It was the 2002 World Cup, held in South Korea and Japan. But this was not the final. This was not even a match most people care about. It was the third-place playoff, the game between the two teams who lost in the semifinals. It is often called the most pointless fixture in football, a consolation match that nobody truly wants to play, watched by fans who know it decides almost nothing. And yet, in this forgotten game, history was about to be made. On one side was South Korea, the host nation, who had stunned the world by reaching the semifinals. On the other was Turkey, a team enjoying the greatest tournament in their history. The players lined up. The referee raised his whistle. And what happened next unfolded so fast that most of the people in the stadium missed how it even began. So let us slow it down and count. The whistle blows. South Korea kick off, calmly passing the ball backward, the way almost every match in history begins. There is no sense of danger. This is the routine opening that happens 10,000 times a season. But then, near the halfway line, a South Korean player makes a small mistake, a misjudged touch. The ball skids loose across the wet grass, and one Turkish player is already moving. His name was Hakan Şükür. He was Turkey's greatest ever striker, a giant of their national game. And in this instant, he read the loose ball faster than anyone else on the pitch. He pounced onto it, took a single touch to steady himself, and struck it first time toward the goal. The South Korean goalkeeper had no chance. He had barely moved from his starting position. The ball flew past him and into the net. 11 seconds. The match was 11 seconds old, and Turkey were winning. For a moment, nobody could quite believe it. The players looked around almost in confusion, as if checking that it had really counted. The crowd, half of them still finding their seats, erupted in a strange mixture of shock and delight. Commentators scrambled to work out what they had just seen. A goal this fast was not supposed to be possible on the biggest stage in the sport. The previous record had stood for 40 years, and even that was several seconds slower. In one blink, one loose ball, one instinctive strike, Hakan Şükür had rewritten the record books forever. And here is what makes it beautiful. This goal did not come in a famous final. It came in the match nobody cared about, the game everyone dismisses as meaningless. And yet it produced a moment of history that will outlive almost every final played that decade. Because for Turkey, this tournament was a fairy tale. They had never done anything like it before. Reaching the semifinals, finishing third in the entire world, was the crowning achievement of a generation of Turkish players. And that impossibly fast goal became the perfect, unforgettable exclamation mark on the greatest run their country had ever had. More than 20 years later, the record still stands. Nobody has scored faster on World Cup football's grandest stage. Managers have tried to design fast starts. Teams have pressed high from the first whistle, hunting for an early goal. But no one has ever matched those 11 seconds. It may be one of those records that simply never falls, a perfect storm of a mistake, an instinct, and a striker in exactly the right place that can never quite be recreated on demand. So the next time you watch a match kick off, watch those first few seconds a little more closely, because they are usually the calmest, safest, most forgettable moments of any game. But once, in a match that supposedly did not matter, In the space of 11 short seconds, one player turned the quietest moment in football into the fastest piece of history the World Cup has ever seen. The fastest goal in World Cup history was scored before most people had even sat back down. And now you know that behind those 11 seconds lies a forgotten match, a fairy tale tournament, and a record that decades later still refuses to be broken. If this kept you watching, subscribe and see how long the next story holds you.